Very good afternoon to all of you. Today we are going to see the normal core of the human body, which is again a part of our syllabus. Now, before going to the lecture, let us understand what is the normal core of the human body. Normal flora are nothing but these bacteria and fungi which reside inside the human body. They may be by birth, they may not be by birth, but why they are called as the normal flora? They are normal flora because under certain circumstances, these organisms are helpful for the body for its vital function or its vital processes to perform. Of course, the bacteria is there or a fungi is there, it undergoes its own metabolism, but during its own metabolism itself, it does not cause any sort of harm. Like, for example, it does not develop any sort of disease that is associated with its metabolism. And therefore, it is called the normal core of the human body. So, human microbiota. What is this human microbiota? Human microbiota is nothing but the organisms that reside inside the human body in specific areas. For example, layers of the skin, in saliva, in oral mucosa, in conjunctiva, and gastrointestinal tract. So these may be bacteria, these may be fungi, and majority of them are giving a non-harmful effect to the human body. Therefore, they are considered as normal flora of the human body. Now, normal bacterial flora, more bacteria than human cells in the body. There are a number of bacteria that are present inside the human body. Now, what are these being helpful for? They provide some nutrients, for example, vitamin K, because vitamin K is a part of their metabolism. And once they metabolize that vitamin K, this vitamin K will be helpful for their metabolism, but the excess amount of vitamin K that has been produced by the organisms are being helpful for utilization by the human body. So, this is one of the points. It stimulates the immune system. Immunity can be cross-reactive against certain pathogens. So, in order to stimulate the immune system, these bacteria are being helpful because they have certain specific type of antigens or markers present on them, because of which when an antigen comes inside the body, the immune system gets stimulated. Prevent colonization by potential pathogens, antibiotic-associated colitis or clostridium difficile. Means ultimately, there are certain organisms which try to colonize inside the human body, and these can be hampered with the help of this normal flora, wherein these organisms they contract with those organisms which are coming inside the human body and protecting the human body as well. Now, microflora of the human health or human host. The reason of understanding the normal microflora is normal flora versus the human body. Now, some normal flora may be opportunistic pathogens. What are these opportunistic pathogens? These opportunistic pathogens are organisms which, under certain circumstances or conditions, may have some plastic effects, may have some pathogenic effects, which may be harmful to the human body as well. So, these are called as opportunistic pathogens. Now, when an injury occurs at a particular place, this normal flora may get reverted back. When resistance of bodies decrease, yes, these are obviously these are pathogens which are residing inside the human body. The only thing is they are not active against the human body. But under certain conditions, when the immunological system is decreased, these organisms may have an excellent opportunity to mount a counteract on the human body, and then therefore, under certain circumstances only, for example, resistance of the body is decreased, then these organisms may start developing certain amount of diseases. When moved to another site, when the site of that particular, for example, there are bacteria which are residing inside the skin, and now these try to move from the skin through the bloodstream if they reside in the kidney. So certainly their metabolism changes and they may have certain drastic effects. Now, origin of the normal flora, relationship between normal flora and human host in distribution and occurrence of this normal flora. Now, where to find the microbes? Everywhere, yeah, of course. Everywhere there are microbes that are present everywhere. So ultimately, inside the human body also, we can see the microbes as well. Now, a diverse microflora is there. As I told you, that in my previous slide, I have told you that the amount of cells inside the body, more than that, there are amount of bacteria which are present inside the human body. So, human body area, skin and mucous membrane, wherever there is skin, of course, inside of the surface of the human body, the microorganisms they try to reside inside it. And mucosal membranes, number of mucosal membranes are present, wherein the mucous secretions are helpful for the um, bacteria to reside in that. Now, shortly after birth until death means these organisms they develop inside the human body once we are moved out of the mother's womb. Means once we come into this world itself, the microflora starts to develop inside the body and it resides until we die. So before our death itself also, the same amount of microflora, maybe some difference may be there, but same kind of microflora is being observed here. 10 is to 14 bacteria, 10 is to 13 cells. As I told you earlier, so the number of bacteria that are being present against the host cells are literally more than the normal human cells. The normal flora may aid the host. It means it may help that particular host or particular body. Harm the host. It means it may develop some kind of resistance or it may develop some kind of pathogenic effects. Exist as common cells means it may reside inside the body, human body. Neither it will develop certain amount of the harmful effect, nor it will be helpful for development of that particular. So viruses and parasites, which are not, absolutely not at all the normal flora of the human body. Because viruses and parasites, they are said to be causing pathogenic effects, therefore they cannot be considered under normal biota. Most investigators consider they are not common cells and do not aid the host. So there is absolutely no help from parasites and viruses inside the human body, and therefore the viruses and parasites will not be considered under the normal flora of the human body. So now for pathogenesis, the transient colorization, permanent colorization, and diseases. Of course, whenever the normal flora of the human body, as I told you earlier, that once they start to proliferate or start their metabolism itself, the metabolism will be helpful for the human body at one point, but under certain circumstances, they may have an harmful effect. For example, colonization, establishment of site of reproduction of microbes on a person without necessarily resulting in tissue invasion. Infection, growth and multiplication of my microbe in or the body of the host without the production of the disease. So ultimately, colonization of that particular human, colonization of that particular bacteria inside the host for a long period of time may have permanent colonizations and may under circumstances can develop to diseases. What is the significance of the normal flora? The normal flora influences the anatomy, physiology, susceptibility to pathogens, and morbidity of the host. Means ultimately the normal flora is helping that particular host in various different ways. The effect of normal flora of the host was not well understood until germ-free animals became available. That is, cesarean sections, germ-free animals, isolators, detected pathogens, viruses, bacteria, and others. So, where we came to know that there is a normal flora inside the human body where an infection was there, and ultimately after the cesarean sections, the persons start to develop or the investigators are investigated. What are the two interesting observations that they found? A germ-free animal lived twice as long as the conventionally maintained counterparts. The major cause of death were different in two groups. Means ultimately, the organisms which are living inside the human body are having both the side of effects onto the human body. What are the factors that are influencing the normal flora? Local environment, pH, temperature, redox potential, oxygen, water, and the nutrient levels. Of course, the organisms and the metabolism is sensitive to all these kind of factors. For example, pH, organisms have certain amount of pH, their metabolism pH is different, their residing pH is different, and therefore they have certain amount of drastic effects also on the human body. Diet. Diet of a particular person will helpful for the upper respiratory tract as well. And therefore, the diet of the person if get fluctuated, the flora also fluctuates and it may have some drastic effect as well. Age. Age is another factor which is associated. As we grow older, the age will be, the microflora will deplete down and it may not have a good or proper effect on the human body. Health condition, immune activity. Of course, when the person is immunologically weak, at that time, they these organisms may become opportunistic and they may counteract inside the human body as well, causing a drastic effect to the human body. Antibodies, certain amount of antibodies by the body itself may start to develop against this normal flora and it can disturb the normal flora. So these are the factors that are actually influencing the normal flora. Significance. Normal flora may aid the host in several ways. Aid in digestion of food. Of course, the GI tract, as I told you earlier also, GI tract contains the various different kind of bacteria and this is helpful for digestion of the food. Help the development of mucosal immunity. Inside the mucosa, they are present, therefore, any infection that comes inside the mucosa are in contact with this particular kind of bacteria which are present inside the mucosal membranes. Protect the host from colonization with pathogen microorganisms. Of course, these are again helpful for the colonization or they remove or they do not allow the pathogenic microorganisms to colonize and thus protecting the human body from the diseases. So this is all why normal flora of the human body need to be studied. The composition of the normal flora. What the normal flora may contain. Normal flora of humans are exceedingly complex and consist of more than 200 species of bacteria. How can you imagine that the number of 200 number of species of bacteria inside the human body are being present? The makeup of the normal flora may be influenced by various factors, including genetics, age, sex, stress, nutrition, and diet of an individual. So these are certain amount of factors wherein the flora of the human body may fluctuate or may be a little bit variable. Three developmental changes in the human body: waning the eruption of the teeth, the onset of cessation of the ovarian functions, invariable affect the composition of the normal flora and the intestinal tract, the oral cavity, and the vagina respectively. However, within the limits of these fluctuations, the bacterial flora of the human is sufficiently constant to give general description of the situation. So the disturbance in the normal flora may have a pathological effect and may also give us status of that particular human body, that how this human body is. So these are also called as markers. So this is how we have been able to study the normal flora of the human body. When we get colonized with normal flora, a human first being colonized with the normal flora at the moment of the birth and passage through the birth canal. In utero, the fetus is sterile, but when the mother's water breaks and the birth process begins, so does colonization of the body surface, handling and feeding of the infant after birth leads to establishment of stable normal flora of the skin, oral cavity, intestinal tract, and 48 hours. So once we come out of the mother's womb within 48 hours, every sort of the colonization sites have been colonized with the help of these normal flora of the human body. So number charge is dependent on the mother. The composition of the child's bacterial flora is dependent on the mother's microflora, since she is the primary source for the child's bacteria at the outside. So whatever the mother is carrying along with her inside the womb itself are being transferred maximally to the child after it comes out of the birth canal. It has been calculated that human adult houses about 10 to 12 bacteria of the skin, 10 to 10 in the mouth, 10 to 14 in the GI tract. The latter number is far in excess of the number of eukaryotic cells in all the tissues, organs, which comprises of humans. Predominant bacteria on the surface of human bodies are listed here, and the informal names are available in this paper. Means ultimately, the human body have various different sites where these bacteria resides, and these are normal for our human body. Correct? So that's all for today's lecture. We have seen the normal flora, their significance, and their functioning inside the human body. Thank you.